one of the most extraordinary things about this film, I'm sure you guys will agree, is how, at its most climactic point, at its most action-packed point, it becomes even more poignant and it becomes more dramatic. It's an incredible dichotomy that I've not seen before, where cinematically, visually, everything is pumped up. We have more explosions, and gunfights, firefights, and everything. But the story becomes, it dilutes to a simplicity, and it just...
Well, Neil had the guts. I mean, Vanessa's scene, I get goosebumps. I mean, Vanessa's scene at the very end, what sort of science fiction director, action director, has the guts to let everything stop and go back to that sort of emotion?
Yeah.
And when I still watch this movie, all the people that worked on it, we can watch this as a movie. The guy that plays Obasanjo says he feels sorry for the aliens. He gets so wrapped up in the movie. We all do. I've watched it so many times now. We all have, and it's we enjoy it. And again, Neil wasn't making anybody else's movie other than his own. He didn't try to copy anybody else. He was willing to do things and go places that most people wouldn't have the courage to, or the confidence to. And this is his first feature film. So you can only imagine what this guy is going to do in the next few years. But again, that courage shows up at the end of the movie in Tanya's scene with Vanessa that just, again, I get goosebumps every time, you know? And when Vickers shows his angel,
yeah,
I think it's so cool.
That's an amazing scene.
Angel.
Yeah.
It's my wife. In the video, eh?
And I think, I mean, hats off really need to go to Peter Jackson for, as you said, supporting Neil and letting him make those choices.
He believed in him.
Yeah. Okay, we got about 5 minutes left before the next showing starts. So I'm going to open to the floor. And okay, I'm going to start straight with you because I saw you first. Go for it.
Thank you. I just really need to know if you guys can shed some light on how exactly was the conceptualization done between the human and the alien relationships. I mean, where did the inspiration come from? At one point, I mean, this is the first movie that I really feel the aliens were really made human. I mean, was that the idea, or was it also to make the...
Look, the idea was the whole background for it is, because we were there right from the beginning trying to, you know, how are we going to make this movie, what's the story going to be about, and listening to the guys talk about it. It's very simple. They just wanted to make, it was like, let's just make a kick-ass science fiction action film, but put it in South Africa. That's the basic bottom line of what, you know. And then it was like, well, what would have happened if aliens had been unfortunate enough to have landed in the dark days of apartheid? It's very obvious what would have happened is up on the screen. They would have just said, no, my friend, come here, in the van, put him in the van. And that's how they would have dealt with it. So it was just taking that very basic idea. And what Neil wanted to do was try and make it as difficult as possible to relate to the aliens so that you can drag people like clawing through an emotional journey. So at the beginning you're like, oh God, they're gross, look at that, he's got meat hanging, like, ah, gee. And then by the end, they're the only thing that you like by making all of the human stereotypes as repulsive as possible. So it was just that idea of like trying to create an emotional journey for the audience that would try to kind of turn them on their heads to create to try and just churn stuff up inside you, yeah. That was the idea.
There was a hand up at the back there.
Was there ever any consideration to get any South African companies to at least do part of the visual effects?
You know, I think that initially Peter was Peter Jackson, I mustn't call it Peter and Steve. Peter Jackson wanted to, oh, Jesus. It's not even, it's only the first night out, I'm already a wanker.
It's okay, this is going out online, so we'll see that.
Hi, Pete. I think that the Jackson company and Weta, they wanted to control it. Initially, Weta was going to do everything, and he put his whole team of designers on and all of those things. So he wanted to keep it all in-house because he knew that he could just make stuff that kicked ass. I think that the thing is, you would have had to have built an entire infrastructure here from scratch in order to do this film. I mean, Image Engine, who did the aliens, are an enormous, I mean, you're talking about like 150 guys, you've got like 50, it's an enormous team of people that do it, and they're very good at it. They just came from, the guys who came straight from Iron Man onto District 9. So it was like, well, the money's safe there, you just got to do it in there, and we had a very, very tight deadline, so we didn't want to try and build a new infrastructure here.
Okay, one last question, quickly.
There's obviously room for a sequel. I mean, it's been established. The rumors have been flying around. What I want to know is, you're the producer. Has Neil Blomkamp totally abandoned any hope of adapting Halo from game to big screen?
I will answer that question by saying that I have read that Neil has said Halo is never going to happen for him. But
There you go.
that's what Neil's saying, and I think that's most likely the truth.
Okay, I think unfortunately we have to wrap it up because of this screening was sold out, and so there's another screening straight after it. A quick round of applause and thank our guests for coming.